Why do you go to the gym? Most likely the reason you do is listed on here, and it may be multiple reasons, but only if you knew that all of these reasons actually lead from one core reason, and that is becoming strong. I'm sick of bodybuilding, pumping out your muscles for aesthetics without big strength to show for it. Of course, I'm not talking about Arnold or about Ronnie Coleman. These guys are all great and build their physiques through both strength training and bodybuilding training. I'm more talking about you, a regular guy just going to the gym and training in the scientific way scientific lifters tell you to do. And I've been doing the same. I've been focusing on hypertrophy, focusing on the squeeze. Strength is not important, the weight is not important, as they all say. It's just important to squeeze the muscles, send the signal, and then rest completely. Don't do any hard tasks. You'll become stronger, then you go back to the gym, lift more weights. I've been lifting for a few years, since the summer of 2019, and I've made some gains. The reason I'm not as big as I probably should be is because I didn't focus on my nutrition until maybe 1 year ago. I was only focusing on getting the good gym session without ever thinking that I would need to eat in a surplus. And even though I've heard I should be doing it, I was opposing it. I didn't like the idea that you had to eat more. Maybe you don't, but in the state I was, and I'm showing you some pictures here, that I was really skinny and there was no way I was going to build muscle, I mean serious amounts of muscle, without bulking and eating in a calorie surplus. So through the years I've mostly improved in my techniques, how I perform my lifts. But something just clicked in my mind a few days ago. I was asking myself, why am I lifting? Am I lifting to become appealing to people so my body can look good? Or do I actually want to have strength? And mainly why aesthetic physiques are attractive is because you appear strong. I've seen guys with less body weight bench 300 pounds while I was struggling with 135. Why am I training to look aesthetic if I can really use my muscles, which is the main point of them? So I wanted my training to actually translate into real life strength, and for me to be able to actually quote unquote protect people around me. I cannot lie, I've built some strength with hypertrophy training, of course, but with real strength, let's say the ability to bench more than 225, I could actually do something and feel confident in my real strength, which I can't say is the same for dumbbell flies or cable flies. They hit chest, but they're not at all functional. So this is how I bumped into StrongLifts 5x5. 5x5 is basically focusing mainly on barbell movements, mastering the technique and increasing the weight progressively. And you're going to do 5 sets of 5 reps on every exercise, split into 2 different workouts. So you're gonna do on Monday, you're gonna do workout A, on Wednesday you're gonna do workout B, and on Friday you're gonna do the workout A again, starting with workout B the next week. This is why I'm so close to starting martial arts too. I've never trained them, never was a big fan of them, but actually realized how important they are combined with your strength training. I don't know if you're the same as me, but me being the average height, I don't have an advantage. Except for my wingspan being longer than average, I don't have much of an advantage when it comes to quote-unquote fighting situations. And you'll think it's stupid, like, when did you ever get into a fight? A lot of times I can tell you from experience that you just shut up and don't say your opinions because you're worried that it's going to evolve into a real conflict. I've basically identified the only hole I have in my life, the missing piece. I would become unstoppable. Not to sound like a villain or something, but in my personal situation, this is the missing piece, and it may also be for you. So if I start learning martial arts soon, you're gonna see it, because I'll be posting the progress on my YouTube channel the same way I'm doing this for this strength training. I'll be posting every single week, and you'll see exactly how much I've progressed, if it's becoming tough, and you'd have a follow-along guy on this journey if I convinced you that this is the right way to train. As we have different workouts, so workout A and workout B, in this video you saw workout B, and of course I'll be doing the A on Wednesday, and every week will be the different workout, so we can see noticeable changes in my strength over time. I'm not going to explain you this StrongLifts program too much because there's already a lot on the internet. I'm gonna leave you a link in the description to a website which is going to explain everything from the StrongLift owner, the guy who made the full guide on it. What I'll tell you is that I've modified it to my liking because I've had enough experience to say what my body lacks in and what I should add. The main program consists of overhead press, bench press, pendlay rows, deadlifts and squats. I didn't like the volume on squats, 30 sets per 2 weeks squat and 3 sets per 2 weeks deadlift. Although I have done a lot of deadlifting in the past year and built most of my strength through that, I would still like a little bit more of volume to my deadlift. So that's why I added 2 extra per session, per workout B. As you have seen, I've completely eliminated squats this session and I'll actually put 3 times 5 on the deadlift. It's not a one-time thing where I put my program and then blindly follow it. If something doesn't click, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna change it a little bit. But the only thing I'm 100% certain is that I'll be sticking with this program for quite some time until I max out on my strength. Then maybe I can return to the squeezing and pushing my muscles to actually grow in volume so they can handle more strength. But I think it's important to switch between strength training and bodybuilding training, or if you would call it hypertrophy training, once in a while, because that's how you're gonna get the most of your gains and actually make your muscles functional, and not just doing unfunctional seating exercises that are not using your core and don't make you stronger in real life. You may be wondering, why is the weight so damn freaking light? And that's how you start this program. The whole point is, if you're not a master of these barbell movements, if you've never done them before, or if you have had some experience but not enough to have a perfect form, it's recommended for you to start with a bar. And I didn't do it because I had some experience with all of these barbell movements, so I'll start with 50% of my 1 rep max. But as you can see, I'm still doing something that is light. Naturally, as weeks go by, I'll be increasing my weight every workout by 5 pounds until it gets really tough. And that's when the real challenge begins, when the real strength building begins. When you manage to complete all the sets with the same weight for 5 reps, then you're gonna increase the weight by 5 pounds. The original program doesn't include the dips and chin-ups. It just mentions that they should be added if you notice a lack of improvement, but I've done my research. As I have background in scientific lifting, I needed to check out with fellow weightlifters who have already done this, and they all say that chin-ups and dips should be immediately included because you won't be getting enough arm work just by itself through these compound movements. With chin-ups, I think my form is pretty good. I've never done pull-ups before, or chin-ups in this case, so it's good to know that I can do some of them. I can do more at once. So I'm more concerned about my dips because this is the second session I'm doing them, and I've done them in the past. But the first time it just hurt my shoulder so much, and I've googled it and found out that that's actually a pretty common problem people have when doing dips for the first time. And this time it's a little better because I tried to retract my scapula and everything, but it hurts a little bit, and I know my form looks quite wrong. There's just something wrong with elbows going in so much. So I would appreciate if any of you would comment and tell me what I can actually improve on. What points should I focus on to fully put the pressure on my muscles and not any of the joints? Now let's talk about recovery for a little bit, because here I can teach you something, and I'll mainly be talking about stretching and cold showering, because these are great recovery options and activities that can make the process faster. Then you can jump into the gym pretty quickly. But I first need you to understand the difference between adaptation and efficiency. Depending on which one of those two you chase will determine how you approach your recovery process. So let's say, for example, you bench press. You send a signal, you inflammate your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. The point of the inflammation you create there is for your body to know where to send nutrients and where to recover. In order for you to reach adaptation, what you're chasing here, you're chasing more strength. You don't want to interfere with the inflammation actually. When you stretch out, you lower the inflammation. When you cold shower, you lower the inflammation. Both of these make you recover quicker, but they do it by short-circuiting the recovery and doing the only essential part, which is getting the muscles back to where they were and not actually building them to be stronger and bigger. On the other hand, when you take a look at athletes, people who run 100-meter sprints, their legs become sore, they become inflamed, but what they do is they immediately stretch out, hop into a cold shower. They want to short-circuit the recovery, but the con of recovering as fast as possible means that you're cutting out your gains basically. They don't have any interest in gains, they just want to be ready to run again tomorrow. But for you as a weightlifter and a person who wants to improve on strength, you don't want to interfere with the healing process at least 4 hours after the workout, which is why you'd be better off doing the cold shower on the whole another day or before the workout, and putting a break on stretching at least the day after. And I've done it all the next morning, and that's how I managed to recover faster and also not kill the signal when it comes to the cold showers. And one time I was obsessing over them, doing them 5 minutes daily, but I realized it's not what my body needs. I don't do them daily, and I just hop in, take a mild warm shower. At the end, I put the temperature to the lowest possible and just go in 1 minute, not going out, rotating under my shower head and dying inside. This not only helps with soreness, but also with dopamine. You get increased levels of dopamine for the next few hours, which makes life much more enjoyable.
Put him on the news, son. Hold up, put him on the news, guy. Put him on the news,